The battlefield was a graveyard of twisted metal and smoldering ruins. The air was thick with the acrid stench of plasma burns and the faint, metallic tang of blood. The war between the human colonies and the Zorathians had raged for years, leaving entire planets scarred and lifeless. But amidst the chaos, a single life clung to survival, a life that would change the fate of both species forever. Her name was Caliph, a Zorathian girl no older than 16 in human years. Her once vibrant, iridescent skin was now dull and cracked, her delicate, wing-like appendages torn and bleeding. She lay crumpled in the shadow of a fallen starship, her breaths shallow and labored. Her people had abandoned her, leaving her to die on this desolate moon. To them, she was a liability, a young, untrained female who could not contribute to their war effort. To Caliph, the abandonment was a betrayal that cut deeper than any physical wound. She closed her eyes, her mind drifting to the stories her mother had told her about the stars, how they were the souls of the departed, watching over the living. Caliph wondered if her star would shine brightly or fade into obscurity. She hoped it would be the former, but as the cold seeped into her bones, she feared the latter. Sergeant Marcus Vera adjusted the scope on his rifle, scanning the horizon for any signs of movement. The moon, designated as LV-426 by the human military, was a barren wasteland, but intel suggested that a Zorathian scouting party had been spotted in the area. Marcus and his squad had been sent to investigate, but so far, they had found nothing but debris and silence. Anything, came the voice of Corporal Jansen over the comms. Negative, Marcus replied, his voice low and steady. This place is a ghost town. Let's sweep the perimeter and head back. I don't like the look of those storm clouds. As Marcus moved through the wreckage, something caught his eye, a faint glimmer of light, almost imperceptible, coming from beneath a crumpled wing of a Zorathian fighter. He approached cautiously, his rifle at the ready. What he found made his breath hitch in his throat. It was a Zorathian, but unlike any he had ever seen. She was small and fragile-looking, her body curled into a defensive ball. Her skin, though marred by injuries, shimmered faintly in the dim light. Marcus had been trained to see Zorathians as the enemy, ruthless, insect-like creatures who showed no mercy. But this was different. "Command, this is Vera," he said into his comms. "I've found a survivor, a Zorathian, requesting immediate evac." There was a pause before the response came. "Negative, Vera. Orders are to eliminate all hostiles. You know the protocol." Marcus clenched his jaw. "This isn't a hostile. She's just a kid. I'm not leaving her here to die." "Vera, stand down." "That's an order." Marcus looked down at the girl, her eyes now open and staring up at him with a mixture of fear and defiance. He made his decision. "Sorry, Command. You're breaking up. Must be interference from a storm." He switched off his comms and knelt beside the girl. "Hey," he said softly, his voice as gentle as he could make it. "I'm not going to hurt you. Can you understand me?" Caliph's eyes widened. She had been taught that humans were monsters, capable of unspeakable cruelty. But this man's voice was kind, and his eyes held no malice. She nodded weakly. Marcus smiled. "Good. I'm going to get you out of here, okay? Just hang on." The journey back to the human outpost was fraught with danger. Marcus carried Caliph in his arms, her weight barely noticeable compared to the burden of his decision. He knew he would be court-martialed for disobeying orders, but he couldn't bring himself to care. Saving her felt like the right thing to do, the human thing to do. When they finally reached the outpost, the reaction was exactly what Marcus had expected. The soldiers stared in shock and disbelief, their weapons trained on the unconscious alien girl. Marcus stood his ground, shielding her with his body. "Stand down," he barked, his voice commanding. "She's not a threat. She's a victim, just like us. Commander Hayes stepped forward, his expression a mixture of anger and confusion. Vera, what the hell are you doing? You brought a Zarathian into our base. Are you out of your mind? Marcus met his commander's gaze without flinching. She's just a kid, sir. She was left to die by her own people. We're better than this. We have to be. Hayes hesitated, his eyes flicking to Caliph. She stirred slightly, her breath shallow but steady. Finally, he sighed. Get her to the med bay. But this isn't over, Vera. You got a lot of explaining to do. Over the next few weeks, Caliph slowly began to heal. The human doctors were hesitant at first, but Marcus's unwavering determination convinced them to treat her. As her strength returned, so did her curiosity. She watched the humans with wide-eyed wonder, marveling at their technology and their capacity for kindness. Marcus visited her every day, bringing her small gifts, a piece of fruit, a blanket, a book filled with pictures of Earth. He taught her words in his language, and she, in turn, taught him phrases in hers. Their bond grew stronger with each passing day, a silent understanding forming between them. But not everyone was so accepting. Rumors spread among the soldiers, and tensions ran high. Some saw Caliph as a symbol of hope, a chance to bridge the gap between species. Others saw her as a threat, a reminder of the war that had taken so much from them. One night, as Marcus sat by Caliph's bedside, she looked at him with a solemn expression. "Why did you save me?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Marcus thought for a moment before answering. "Because it was the right thing to do. Because you deserve a chance to live just like anyone else." Caliph's eyes filled with tears. "My people, they would not have done the same." "Maybe not," Marcus admitted. "But that doesn't mean we have to be like them. We can be better. We are better." The peace was shattered one fateful evening when a group of rogue soldiers, fueled by fear and hatred, stormed the med bay. They demanded that Caliph be handed over, claiming that she was a spy. Marcus stood in their way, his weapon drawn, but his heart heavy. "Stand down," he ordered, his voice firm. "She's done nothing wrong. She's one of them." One of the soldiers spat. "You think you can trust her? She'll turn on us the first chance she gets." Before Marcus could respond, Caliph stepped forward, her head held high. "I am not your enemy," she said, her voice steady despite the fear in her eyes. "I'm not a spy. I'm just me." The soldiers hesitated, their resolve wavering. In that moment, Commander Hayes arrived, his presence commanding immediate attention. "Enough," he barked. "This ends now. Caliph is under our protection. Anyone who disagrees can answer to me." The rogue soldiers lowered their weapons, their rebellion quashed. But the incident served as a stark reminder of the fragile peace that existed within the outpost. As the months passed, Caliph became a symbol of hope and unity. Her presence inspired the humans to see beyond their prejudices, to recognize the common humanity, or, in her case, the common sentience that bound them all. Marcus's actions, once seen as treasonous, were now celebrated as an act of courage and compassion. When the war finally came to an end, it was Caliph who stood beside Marcus as the treaty was signed. Her voice, once so small and uncertain, now carried the weight of a new beginning. "We are not so different," she said, addressing both humans and Zarathians. "We all want the same things: peace, safety, a future for our children. Let us build that future together." And so they did. Caliph and Marcus became ambassadors for their respective species, working tirelessly to heal the wounds of the past and forge a new path forward. Their bond, born out of desperation and nurtured by trust, became a beacon of hope for all. In the end, the abandoned and wounded alien girl found not only hope but a home, and a human soldier who claimed her not as a prize, but as family. Together, they prove that even in the darkest of times, light could be found, if only one had the courage to reach for it.